Hi, in this video I'm going to talk you through part of section 2.1. This is in two parts. So the first part, we're just going to introduce a little bit of set vocabulary. Young children use sets unconsciously, without knowing it, all the time, sorting shapes into different attributes, counting and adding and subtracting. So for instance, if I put up some shapes here, young kids immediately can think about how to sort these into different groups. Grown-ups too, it's something we do all the time. I think humans just enjoy sort of logically trying to think, oh, what kind of grouping could I make? If you look at this, I see this one and this one. This is a large green circle and a large green triangle. I could group those together as green things, right? Or I could put the two triangles together as triangle things. You can create lots of different kinds of sets. I could do the yellow circle and these two yellow shapes as the yellow shapes. So when you group things like that, you can play Guess My Rule. You could, without telling the students what the rule is, put all the yellow shapes up and either ask them what the rule is or ask them to come up with another shape. So now let's talk a little bit about some set notation. This funny little E symbol means is an element of. And we put curly braces around the elements in a set to show that they're in a set together. So for example, the yellow circle that we were just talking about is an element of, it's one of, the set, here we go, curly braces means a set of yellow objects that we saw before. And so we just write that all this says is the circle is an element of this set of yellow objects. So now I have a question for you. Is 3 an element of the set of natural or counting numbers, the numbers we use to count? And how about -3? And how would you write that in set notation? So for the first one, pause for a second, think about it. For the first one, yes, 3 is a counting number, and we would write this. 3 is an element of, and then we'd write curly braces to show a set, and the ... means it keeps on going into infinity, and we don't want to write them all down. Now think about -3. Is it a set? Is it an element of the set of natural numbers? No. So we would write this, a little element with a slash through it, indicating no, it's not an element of the set of natural numbers. Now, sometimes it's difficult to show it by listing, so we'll use set builder notation, it's called. And that's where we do this. This looks kind of complicated looking, or scary maybe, but it's pretty basic. The first part of it, the curly braces, just means the set of all x, right there. The straight up and down line means such that, and then it's x is a natural number. We can also write this, which we read as the set of all x, and then up and down line means such that x is an element of, and this fancy n stands for the natural numbers. So that's a nice short way if you don't want to write it all out, but you don't have to. So how would you write that 3 is an element of the set of all multiples of 3? You could list it. So I want you to think for a second, how would you list this with ... And how would you do 3 is an element of part? Or you could describe it in words with set builder notation. But think about each of these and how you would do it. Pause the video and see. So for the first one, I bet you forgot about the negative multiples of 3, right? But you would, that's okay. You would write -6, -3, 0, 3, 6, 9, ... And with ... on each end to show that it goes on forever, each direction. Those are all multiples of 3 because -6 is 3 times -2. -3 is a multiple of 3 because it's 3 times -1. 0 is 3 times 0. 3 is 3 times 1, and so on. Or you could describe it with set builder notation, which might be a little nicer because you don't have to list them all, and also because you can explain in words exactly what you mean. And there you go. 3 is an element of the set of all x such that x is a multiple of 3. The advantage to the second method is you can say exactly what you're talking about. Now let's try this one. 8 is an element of the set of all natural numbers greater than 7. See if you remember how to show greater than 7 by listing. So the first one's just by listing the numbers. What numbers are greater than 7 and how would you show them? And then see if you can remember how to show greater than 7 with a symbol. Pause the video for a second and try it. There are several ways to do this, but here, since they're natural numbers greater than 7, we don't put 7. We put 8, 9, 10, 11. Those are the numbers greater than 7, and ... to show that it keeps going. In set builder notation, we could use greater than or equal to 8, or maybe more naturally you would write greater than 7. It's fine. Either one is fine. But you have to say that x is a whole number, or that x is an element of the natural numbers, or something like that. Otherwise, we would have all the fractions and decimals that are greater than 7 as well. That's it for this slide, part 1. In part 2, we're going to talk about subsets, and we're going to bring it all together.